It is my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Sara McNamara of the US Chamber of Commerce Foundation. Sara, everyone give her a warm welcome. Sara is the program manager for Hiring Our Heroes Corporate Fellowship Program. She works with local employers in Marine Corps leadership. She also helped launch the first fellowship cohort in January 2017, so this year. And importantly, she helps ensure that each service member is equipped with the tools to transition into meaningful civilian careers. Responsible for developing partnerships with local and national employers to become host companies. She has a bachelor's in organizational psychology from San Diego State University, San Diego, and currently pursuing a master's degree in where do you have the time? A master's degree in organizational development from Pepperdine University. So thank you, everyone, and please help me welcome Sara McNamara.
So thank you. What a nice introduction. As you know, my name is Sara, and I'm going to start this morning by asking you all a question, and that is, by a show of hands, how many of you have been offered a tremendous opportunity or a job offer through networking? Yeah, so me too. Most recently, I was a volunteer at Camp Pendleton Employment Office supporting their military spouse programs. And the US Chamber of Commerce, the Hiring Our Heroes program, was approved to come aboard Camp Pendleton, and they needed a program manager. So through my networking while being a volunteer, I was offered the opportunity. So that's why I'm here today. I'm excited about the possibilities of this event for networking for all of us. So also want to make a call out to the reason why I'm at this podium right now is through knowing Anthony Monteforte with 3M. So he is the reason why I'm introduced to this fabulous community this morning. So let's get started. I know we're late. So let's see. You've read all my bio. Military spouse, my husband retired out of Camp Pendleton, and I thought I could do this job because I've always had one foot in the military and one foot in corporate. So I'm like, of course, I can help people get jobs. What I didn't know was that I was going to have a transition myself. So as much as I help these military people transition, I'm working now in a nonprofit organization aboard a military installation. So I'm in transition too. So I have to call attention to that. And my disclaimer that I have to say also is that I've never worn a uniform. I might act like I have, or I speak sort of like I know what I'm doing. It's not the case. So let's see. So in the next few minutes, I'll talk about what is transition. What does that mean? I'll, of course, go through the slide deck about the US Chamber and the organization and the program at Camp Pendleton and nationwide. And then I'm going to close out with a call to action. And then we'll do a Q&A. So I'm going to do that in about 15 minutes. Okay? You with me? Okay. I don't need this right now. Okay. So I have my notes because I'm not an early morning person. Let's see. So what is transition? So I didn't know anything about military transition until my husband did it. And I was like, yeah, okay, just take your uniform off and go back to work the next day. He was lucky enough to have a relationship with Microsoft. And I knew he was interviewing. And he came home one day and said, yeah, I got an offer and I signed it and I sent it in and I'm starting to work for Microsoft. And for somebody like me from corporate where you negotiate and you take 48 hours or a couple days to accept an offer, and you have more than one offer, and there's all kinds of things going on. For him to accept that offer and sign it and turn it back in without even telling me, I was blown away. And I thought, well, what is that? Why did he do that? And it occurred to me that perhaps the hiring manager, Microsoft, and me all saw something in him that he didn't see. So that was an eye-opener, and that was several years ago, and now fast forward, I'm with this group of military service members all transitioning, and that is top of mind for me. What is their value? What do they see, what I see, and their future employers see? And I don't think they do. So it made me think about transition, and what does that mean? How do you do it? How do you get to become a Marine? That's a transition. So then I went all the way back to boot camp. So that's the very first transition. Something triggers it. You sign, you're driven, your purpose, you have no other option. For whatever reason, you transition in. You do paperwork, you sign a contract, and you're transitioned. Then the transformation starts, right? So there's an environmental change. You change where you live. A physical change, you get a haircut. A professional, you get a rank and a pay grade and an MOS. That's a military operational specialty. Like, that's what you're going to do, you can identify with. You're intellectually challenged. You're given jobs and opportunities and challenges that you're not even close to being prepared for or equipped for, but you do it. So you build capabilities right away because you have to. Social. You're given a membership. You're a member of a tribe. You can identify with people. You have a peer group you can relate to, and it's a personal thing. So you have internalized this whole new culture, and now it's part of who you are. So you serve your time, serve your country. Thank you for all, thankfully, everybody does that. And then something else happens. There's another triggering event, and now it's time to transition out. And I'm wondering how this is made possible. I'm sorry, I want to back up. I want to say that the Marine Corps and the military all the branches do a really great job of this transition in. And I'm wondering how they do that. And I think the answer is that they immerse the person in the culture, they show them how to do it, they have people ahead that can help them, they put you in the experience, and then you survive. You adapt and you develop capabilities and you carry on. So that's how they do it. Now it's time to get out and leave service. And I'm wondering, how does the transition process and the reintegration into civilian life work? Is there a similar model? Does the transition out mirror the transition in? And the answer is no. And this is all from what I've found. Like I said, I'm acting like an expert. I'm really not. But I have worked for a year with these service members, and I've talked a lot and listened more. And I'm saying this because it's really important, before I talk about the program I work with, it's important to me that you understand the value and the transition and the time in life that these servicemen and women are in. And it's critical to their success. They're afraid. They're afraid. One of the first comments I heard was from a 20-year Marine, and he told me that he was more afraid of transitioning into the civilian world as he was when he was driving away on the bus to go to boot camp. He was more afraid after serving 20 years than he was the day he left home. And I was like, wow. So, for all the veterans in the room, I want to say thank you, because I don't know that there was a program that helped you transition out when you were leaving, and now I have a really deep appreciation for what you went through to get out and transition and transform on your own and thrive. So I am going to go to a slide deck. What I would like for you to keep in the back of your mind is what it was like at boot camp. How do you transition into the military? Have that in mind, as this is a resource and an opportunity for these service members to transition out successfully. The whole purpose is to provide role models and an environment where you can learn and be challenged and have a purpose similar to the transition into the military. And I think that's where I'll stop. So, here we are. I know it's confusing, there's all kinds of words. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation has the Hiring Our Heroes program. Underneath the Hiring Our Heroes program sits three areas: the fellowships, fellowships, events, and a digital presence. So when you see the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, we all sit under that umbrella, and Hiring Our Heroes is just part of, fellowship is under the Hiring Our Heroes. All right, so here we go. So what it's not, we're not a skills development course. We're not focused on one industry. You can read the list. What we are not, is what the traditional transition programs are. The most important thing in my opinion, is that this program is based on an individual career objective. The Marines come in and they say, this is what I want to do, this is what I think I'm going to be good at, this is what I'm interested in, and hopefully we have employer opportunities that match that. So it's a 12-week, unique internship. The interns are considered fellows, they are matched with employers, and they go to work in real jobs for 4 days a week, and 1 day a week they come back on base for training. It is a selection process, and it's an interview. So again, it's the individual interviewing for an open job, just like you and I have always done. And during the time that they're with their host employers, they're receiving support and coaching and mentorship and interview prep, because ultimately they'll be offered an interview and hopefully be placed and have a job offer that lines up with their end of active duty service. And what's the purpose? I don't even need to say, right? Everybody in this room knows the purpose of this program. It's to find meaningful employment. And save a life? Is that what somebody said? Yeah, okay. That's great. So this, I kind of just ran through this. There's a recruitment process. We do interviews. The employers and the candidates select each other, and then they go to work for the 12 weeks, and then there's a graduation ceremony on base. And we do that 3 times a year. Yep, let's keep going. So who are they? This is a breakdown of the mix. As you see, some of you might be surprised. It's a very big mix. Let's see, all branches, that's something else to point out. So it's not just the Marines, we have Navy, Air Force, and Army all represented in the cohorts. Yep. So we have 11 locations nationwide. These are all nationwide data points. But I want to talk about Camp Pendleton. Camp Pendleton was the very first Marine Corps base. So the program's been going on for several years. Cohorts have been in and out of the process. But Camp Pendleton finally said, yeah, okay, we'll do it. Kind of late to the party, I gotta say. And we're growing slowly. So, but very, very successful. The first cohort had about, 100% placement. Second cohort of 9, they're all on track to be placed. So that's another 100%. So this program is proven. And I'm here today to share the word and ask for your help, which I'll get to at the end. Average salary is $70,000. That's nationwide. Out of Camp Pendleton, it's closer to $80,000. And these jobs are all mid-level management. Okay, that didn't pull through the point. This is a nationwide map that shows the installations. And here's a list of our partnership companies. The darker colors are the local San Diego, Orange County companies that we're partnered with. So you'll recognize most of these. And this list hopefully will be growing. So how to become a host company, a host employer, the host employer network. All the same thing. Really, it just means let's onboard a veteran and give them an opportunity to fill an open job, give them some mentorship and support, pair them up with your veteran employees for lunch dates and buddies, make them feel welcome and understand the transition that they're going through. They might not speak the language, they may throw an acronym in once in a while, and just go with it and ask them, I don't get that, what does that mean? When we sit in the classroom, when they say acronyms or profanity or they say anything in the third person, the dollar goes in the jar. It's amazing, the transformation that I've seen in 12 weeks. It's amazing. So anyway, back to this. Okay, host employers, they select a candidate, and then the onboarding is the most important piece. And these are some pictures of our first cohort. The Awesome 11, and then this is not the greatest quality pictures, but in the middle is the first interview day with the employers and the candidates there at the Veterans Association in Oceanside. And then the far right is the graduation day in March, which was our first graduation. So huge success there. I'm going to leave that up. I've got a couple other things I want to say, and then I'm hoping to have some questions. Yeah, I'm going to cut out some stuff because I know we're out of time. But here's another point I really want to make, and that transition is not, well, transition is finite. Transition is a start and a finish. You do your paperwork in, you sign, you serve, you're out. You can transition out. The transformation never stops. And everybody that I know who has served is still a service member. And so they're constantly transforming, and I really talk to the fellows about that as well. I mean, it's going to be ongoing. And so in that light, it is up to the individual to get across the bridge, so from military to civilian, and to make that transition. I do also feel that as civilians and employers, we have a role to play in the foundation on the other side. And now we're at the call to action. So I would like to ask everybody in the room to think about becoming a host company, supporting this program out of Camp Pendleton, and doing your role and your part in that small piece of that foundation that's on the other side of the bridge for these military service members. And I'm going to leave you with a quote. I'm not going to leave, but I'm going to say this because this is really impactful for me. President George W. Bush said when he left office in 2016 that he was going to spend the rest of his life serving veterans. And I would challenge everybody here to do the same in some small way. So thank you. I would like to introduce 3 of our current fellows.
I came onto this program at the very last minute. Sara jumped through hoops to get me in it, and it's been a life changer for me. So if I could encourage anybody to support us, encourage your friends, other companies to support us. It's been a great ride, and I've now transitioned. So job offer next week, and thanks to Sara, it's been a success. So thank you all for your support and the groundswell that's come about to help veterans, and thank the veterans that came before us for building that groundswell to give us this opportunity.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry. My name is Eric Allen, and I'm First Sergeant in the Marine Corps. Thank you. I'm currently attached to 1st Battalion, 1st Marines on Camp Pendleton, and it's been a tremendous program for me personally because it's allowed me a lot of time to market myself and learn how to network to prepare for my upcoming transition. And I've talked to a lot of service members that didn't have this program or wasn't afforded this opportunity we've received. And I tell you, they had a hard time with their transitioning. I mean, it's been 20 years since my last job interview. And this program is allowed through Sara's kindness and her generosity. It's allowed us to interview time after time and to build our networks, build our foundations. And I'm currently fellowing with UPS. And I'm expecting a job offer as well next week.
So my name is Mike Sam, and today is my actual last day of active duty. So 30 years, so I was 30 years in the Navy. I'm a Master Chief, and that's considered the top 1% of the Navy. And you would think that a guy that can get to that level would have things figured out, would know what he wanted to do. And December 15th, when my command master said, "Hey, you gotta turn it over, Mike. It's no more." I did not know what I wanted to do. I had no idea. What I was doing, I was putting my resume in the black hole and hoping that somebody was going to answer it. Because in the military, we don't have to worry about this. My last job was at Little Caesars Pizza as a 17-year-old. So I've only had 3 jobs. I was a paper boy for the Rocky Mountain News in Denver, Colorado. I was a Little Caesars Pizza throwing dough, and Master Chief, Navy Master Chief. The biggest thing that this program gives is confidence. When I first went to Sara, She's, well, what do you want to do? What do you think you're worth? And I told her, and first thing she said is, you ever say that again, I'm going to smack you. Because that's not the case. 30 years of experience, the whole issue is, how do I convey that? How do I explain that to you, to the corporate world? How do I get that conveyed over? And she teaches you that. We learn how to write the value of a resume, how to target resumes. We learned how the network, the art of a network, the art of interviewing, being able to meet someone. I met someone today, Tim. I know he's out here somewhere. And, you know, if that would have been 4 months ago, I would have never been able to explain who I was and where I was at and what I was doing. And because I've gone through this, met people, done the interviews, it's different. It's different being on the other side of the table. As a master chief, I was on the other side. I ran it. I was at the top of the food chain. And it's a step back now. And that's okay. I'm at Ingram Micro. I'm a project manager. It's a great company. It's an outstanding company. And we're doing great things. They're giving me the opportunity, though, to grow into that role. And it wouldn't have been possible. I would have never gotten that opportunity had it not been for Sara and this program. I believe in it. I hope you all believe in it. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of talent. There is a lot of talent. And it could be a 30-year master chief, a 32-year lieutenant colonel, or a 22-year first sergeant. Or it could be a 4-year guy, a 4-year person who's just got a technical skill. There's a lot of smart people in the military. And it's a great place to start. It's a great place to find it. You already know they can do the 10 basic rules. They can come to work on time. They'll be there every day. They can pass a drug test. They can be responsible in life. They've proven that. And because you have to do that in the military. You have to be ready to go at a moment's notice. I don't have time to be playing around with you. And they're a valuable asset. So I hope you all, I encourage you all, get involved with this program. It's a great thing, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate Sara a whole lot. So